Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Now, this is a visual. Welcome to Pacific Unitarian Universalist. We'll see. My name is Darcy Carroll, and I'm your worship associate for today. And here on this hill, we represent progressive religious thought and good trouble here in the South Bay. And we also welcome our online viewers at home. So this is a place where we can join together, having different beliefs, different races, lifestyles, sexual orientation, and gender identities. Everyone is a welcome. And you know why? Because we come here to be our better selves. If you're visiting for the first time, we're especially happy, and we also want you to know that we have religious exploration for school-aged children. Not seeing any, oh yeah, we do have some children, yay. As always, we serve a lovely lunch on the patio right after the service. If it's your first time here, it's free of charge. For everyone else, the suggested donation is $5. However, nobody will be turned away for lack of funds. And as Melissa said, nobody will be turned away for giving too many funds either. So let's take a moment to remember that we are gathered here on the ancestral lands of the people now known as Tongva and Gabrielino. And may we work toward a greater connection and just a stewardship of this land. So today we have two guest speakers. The Los Angeles District Attorney has identified Los Angeles as the capital of sex trafficking and has made this one of his key issues to address. So this is a joint presentation with Kathleen Terry and Dietra Handy, who is the program director of RDS, which is Restoration Diversion Services. It's a drop-in center in Compton. So before we go on with that, I have a few announcements to make. At 12:30 today, the class and classism will resume with Dr. Haven Perez. That's at 12:30 today, right? Okay. Oh, and here in the sanctuary, okay. Next Saturday, November the 1st, the men's group meets at 9 a.m. at Mimi's, right? Okay. Go men. Rock on men. And also November 1st, the Ofrenda, it says Ofrenda building, it sounds like it's a building. How about the building of the Ofrenda begins between 1 and 4 next Saturday the 1st. And I don't think it's too early to mention that next weekend is the beginning of daylight savings time. So, you know, you have to do clockwork in your house if you still have clocks. Okay, and I think that's it for everybody. And now we'll have the lighting of the, Gary Hart, please come up for making an announcement. I wrote it down, but I didn't.
All right, this is the last time I'm going to tell you. This is the last day to vote for the new name for this organization. We have ballots in the back next to the ballot box back there where Greg is sitting. So if you are a member and you have not yet voted, today's your last chance. All right, thank you.
That's regarding the new church name, if there will be a new name. All right. We light this chalice to create a circle of safety where we can lay down our burdens, speak our truths, and be held in compassion. Here, no one is outside the circle. Here, all may find shelter for a weary heart and courage for the journey ahead. And I kind of think this bears a reread, so. We light this chalice to create a circle of safety where we can lay down our burdens, speak our truths, and be held in compassion. Here, no one is outside the circle. Here, all may find shelter for a weary heart and courage for the journey ahead. And now, if you would please stand as you are willing and able. We're switching the two from your program, where it's actually starting with Rivers of Babylon for the opening hymn.
By the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down, and there we wept, and we remembered Zion. By the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down, and there we wept, when we remembered Zion, where the wicked carried us away, captivity required of us a song. How can we sing King Alpha's song in a strange land, where the wicked carried us away, captivity required of us a song? How can we sing King Alpha's song in a strange land? So let the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O for I. So let the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in my sight, oh for I. One more time. So let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my hearts be acceptable in thy sight, oh for I.
Time for the moment of all ages. So if our Director of Religious Exploration would come up, Dr. Haven Perez, and all you kidlets who are there, come down to the carpeting. Even if you're dressed like a ghost.
Yes. Good morning. Oh, right here, right here. Thank you. Growing up here in Los Angeles, it feels like autumn really doesn't get started until the middle of October for me, anyway. I know it's supposed to start in September, but it feels like it just started for me, and I'm feeling very autumnal. Was that the appropriate? Autumnal. There you go. All right. Bear Helps the Forest, Maybe You Help Too, by Karen Lynn Williams. Bear dove into a mound of autumn leaves. A burst of red and bronze and gold covered her from head to toe. Where are you, Mama called. Bear bounced up. I'm here. Meanwhile, the forest did its work. Cool nights slowed the sap flow. In the more leaves let go, twirl and swirl. Bear dance like the leaves, crackle and crunch, in heaps and piles, in mounds for miles. Winter, it's time for sleep, Mama called. I want to play, Bear cried. You can play in spring, Mama said. Bear snuggled up in an old den. Mama told a sleep-type story. Bear slept, forest did its work. Squirrels searched for buried nuts. Bacteria and fungi grew, while earthworms nibbled and chewed. Beetles and mites and slugs and snails munched too. Snowflakes flurried in whispers, heaped on hillocks and ponds. The forest did its work. Shh. Bear dreamed of leaves floating on sunbeams. Until spring arrived. The sun grew strong. Snow melt ran in rivulets and ruts. Tree sap began to flow again. Deer and squirrels and possums squished and squooshed in springtime muck. Moles and shrews tunneled on through the dead leaves and soil, and the forest did its work. Bear rolled over and woke from a long snooze. Time to play in the leaves, she yelled. Bear wiggled and waggled her bottom against an old oak stump. She stretched and blinked again. Where did the leaves go? She asked a friend, did you eat them, dear? Deer shook her head and nibbled on tender sprouts. Flat brown leaves hugged the forest floor. Mama, did you clean up the leaves? Bear asked. The forest did its work, Mama said. Bear took a deep sniff. The earth smelled clean and green. Her stomach roared and rumbled. Summer came. Bear chomped and champed on dandelions and clover. Her favorite acorns, too. Worms wiggled up through warm earth. Possums and moles pecked at insects, and so did the shrews. Bear lay on her back and blinked at the sun. She rolled in dark, rich soil. She sniffed sugar-sweet sap that ran deep in root and leaf. Summer leaves danced in shadow and light. They swayed in the breeze, all green, green, green. Bear harangued. Where are the piles for playing? The forest needs time to do its work, Mama said. The leaves held on tight. Bear waited in sun and wind and rain. Autumn nights turned cool. The sap flow slowed, and once more leaves let go. Then Bear whooshed and tumbled. Hooray! Bear scrambled and jumped in leaves in red and bronze and gold. They crumbled and crunched into pieces and bits. Mama said, you're helping the forest do its work. That's silly, Bear replied. But Mama was right. The deer and raccoons and squirrels helped. So did the earthworms, shrews, and mites. Maybe you help too. Thank you. All right, you guys want to come with me to Sunday school?
May the kindness that we learn light our hearts as we return.
And now is our time. Now is our time for joys and sorrows. And you can come up and light a candle and express a brief joy or a brief sorrow that you have, and
peace.
Thank you, Greg. Everybody can remain seated, please, for our centering hymn, which is Comfort Me.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing to me, sing to me, sing to me, oh my soul. Sing to me, sing to me, sing to me, oh my soul. Let's do one more, comfort me. Ready? Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
Yes, I guess I gave a little introduction already of RDS and Kathleen Terry, who's going to speak, and then introduce Program Director Beatrice. There you go.
Where's our microphone? What a perfect place for us to be today. This is our first church, and yet I think churches are where we should be speaking. If you could put up our first slide. We have, Alec and I have been back and forth at our slides. You know, in the morning, I don't want to depress you, but the topic we're talking about is a very serious topic. But it's a tragedy, but we're here to talk about hope. And I'm here to introduce you to a person who is providing hope to some of our victims of sex trafficking. So as we talk about this topic, the first thing I'd like to have you do is I'd like you to imagine, if you would. Imagine, next slide please. Imagine a 14-year-old girl promised something, but instead being sold over and over again, not in another country, but in Los Angeles. As she mentioned in the introduction, a district attorney said LA County is the largest area of human trafficking in the United States. And a lot of people think it's not affecting you. Oh, we live in a beautiful place. It's not affecting us. It's affecting the immigrants. It's affecting the people downtown LA. No, it's affecting your children. And that is why our topic is so important. Next slide, please. Now, before I want to introduce Deetra, I want to give the Cliff's Note version of what sex trafficking is, just so everybody's on the same page. So as you look at this next slide, what I want you to be aware of, could you skip the next slide, please, is that what is sex trafficking? There's workplace trafficking, but we're talking about sex trafficking. And this is when a young person under the age of 18 is sold for sex. That's what it is, all right? So when you start to think about this topic, I want you to get in your mind your children under the age of 18. Now, I'm going to share with you some really quick statistics. First of all, 50% of the victims of sex trafficking are less than 16 years old. And in LA County, the average age of girls is 14 and the boys is 13. Now, we're going to be talking mostly about young women, but boys are not immune to this topic. The other thing I want you to be aware of is that 80% of our victims are female, although lately there's been a great push through the internet of trafficking of young boys. As we talk about this topic, I'm going to give you some statistics, and there's a lot of statistics, but I pulled out a few of the key ones. The first one is, it's an estimated that 150,000 of our children are victims of sex trafficking. That's a lot of people, and that number is not even probably the real number. The second statistic I think is important is that if you look at girls who survive it, and a lot of them don't survive it, okay? If they do survive it, then what happens to them when they become 18 is they become sex workers. So those prostitutes that you're thinking about, these are young women who started out in the business 13, 14, 15 years old. Okay? They did not choose to be a prostitute. Okay? The last statistic is that $1 billion are being made on this. What we're discovering now in our country is that gangs are moving to sex trafficking over drugs. You can sell a drug 1 time a day. You can sell a young woman 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. Now, if those statistics do not shock you, they shocked me, and that's why I became involved in this work and involvement with this organization. How old do you think this girl is? 12? 13? Okay. Well, actually, next slide, please. That's the girl. See, what's happening on the internet today is that we have online recruitment of young girls and young boys. People modeling as teenagers are not teenagers. So this is kind of the tragedy here, and as we talk about how do they get their victims, there's a lot of different ways that they get them. Online recruitment is the biggest one. That's why I tell people, if you've got grandchildren, children of all ages that are children, you better be paying attention to what they're doing on the internet. It's the highest way of recruiting of victims today. But they get them in other ways. They promise them things. They scan the malls. They find vulnerable young women. They become boyfriends to them. They're very good-looking young men. And they convince them that this is something that they ultimately need to or have to do, right? So a lot of promises are made. So I want you to realize again that the people who are trafficking are very sophisticated, very difficult to resist them. So as I think about this topic and how I can do something, that's how I came across Restoration Diversion Services. It's located in Compton, very close to here. You could probably get there in 20 minutes. And it's on a street on Long Beach Boulevard. And I was tired of understanding the topic. I understand the topic, but I was tired of not doing anything, and that's why this organization spoke to me. Now, if you look at the next slide, you'll see a picture of what we're about. We're not about trying to convince the girls to get off the street. But we are doing is providing them a place for rest, support, and somebody caring about them. And it's all being done in this building. A very kind of nondescript but also vivid building that is between the motels where they spend the nights and where they actually are prostituting themselves. They walk right by our building. And we have a person in there, and she's sitting right there. Her name's Keela. She's one of our people who works at Diversion. She runs out and gets them. She says, "Come on in here." And when they come inside, what do they find? They find clothing. They find condoms. They find pepper sprays. They find window breakers. They find snacks. And they find, just recently, a room that they can just be quiet in. Because when they're on the street, they don't have any place to go. They can't go home till they make their quota, right? Now, what I want you to know about this organization, let's go to the next slide, is that this organization with 2 women, the woman who's going to speak today, Deetra, and Keela, who's in the audience here, last year got 18 girls off the street. 18 girls. And that's not even counting the 100 and plus, or even more, that come in on a regular basis. But they don't try to tell them, don't do this. They provide hope. They provide support. And one day a girl will say, I don't want to do this anymore. And then they come into action. Okay? So I want you to be aware, this is being done. 2 part-time employees, 3 days a week. So you can see we have a need. And that's why we're talking to everyone. So I'm going to introduce you to, what did I do with my phone? I had it with, oh, here I go. I want to introduce you to the main speaker today. I'm just the person who is pushing this and getting the word out. And wouldn't you know, my cell phone doesn't want to be at this. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So I want to introduce you today the person who's really going to let you know about this topic. I am just a volunteer. And I'm hoping after today some of you will join us. But Deidre Handy is a fierce advocate of survivors of human trafficking, and her journey began in foster care, where she first witnessed the systematic gaps that leave our youth so vulnerable today. She's had over 20 years of experience in public service, and I could go on and on about how wonderful she is. I just want to take the time. I would like you now to meet one of the most compassionate, giving, and I could say, person providing hope to these young women in Compton, Deidre Handy.
Well, hello, everyone. And I want to, first of all, say thank you for allowing us to come and talk about this topic. I'm sure it's not one of the most sought after topics, but the fact that you allowed us to be here, and it's just a blessing. So I just want to first of all say thank you. So I want to talk about, so Kathleen so eloquently and informatively really gave you the dictionary nuts and bolts of human trafficking. She gave you statistics. She even gave you a tour of restoration diversion services. And I'm going to give you a quick story of one of the young women that recently came in and experienced restoration diversion. So as Kathleen mentioned, we're on the Blade. Long Beach Boulevard is known as the Blade because the young women say that working on the Blade is like walking on a razor's edge. Every day, they never know if they're gonna survive. They don't know if the blade is gonna cut them. They don't know. So it's the Blade because it's where it's considered your red light district. So that's where all of the buyers come, and that's where all of the girls are. And the girls come from all over the United States. So they're not, so this is so popular. This stretch is so popular that this is where people come to make money, and this is where the buyers come. And that's why you consider it your red light district. So in between the main part of the red light district are the Blade and the hotels where they stay, because they are homeless. The girls are homeless. They're living and they have to make $125 a day just to not be out on the street. We've had girls come in and say, Ms. D, can you please pay for my day so that I don't have to sell my body today? And of course we do that. We're there to support. We're there to care. I'm a hugger. I greet them with a hug, and what's from the heart reaches the heart. So they know that what we're saying, when we give, I was told it's healing hugs. When we give them a hug, that they feel it. They feel it. They walk in the door. I've had girls walk in the door and say, can you feel that? We've had girls come in and say, I thought you were a unicorn. I didn't believe you existed. I heard about you, but I didn't believe you existed. And so when they come in the door, when they walk in, and we just greet them with love, no judgment, just love. And love covers a multitude of sins, right? And that's what we do. We cover them. We support them. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. A young woman came in. She was brought in by another young woman. They call themselves sister wives because they have the same trafficker, also known as pimp. So they came in together. She was new to this family because they consider themselves a family. But they're not. They're not a family because it's very abusive. A lot of the traffickers are very abusive. She came in, and they come in because we give them everything they need. As Kathleen said, we give them pepper spray. We're trying to keep them alive because the buyers are brutal, some sadistic. I've had girls kidnapped. I've had girls constantly raped. But the way they cope with being raped is they don't call it rape, they just say, he didn't pay me. But usually it's very brutal. He does, and they'll say, why does he have to beat me? Why can't he just not pay me, but why have to brutalize me? So these two young ladies came in, and so we started giving them a tour. This is your place where you can get your snacks because we know, as Kathleen said, you have to fill a quota before you can go to a McDonald's, or they cannot go and get a fast food lunch until they have filled their quota. So they come in and we have whatever they ask us for. They tell us they want cup of noodles. They tell us they want fruit snacks. They tell us they want zingers. They tell us whatever they want that's gonna give them comfort, we give them to make sure. So we introduce this young lady to the snack table. Then we tell her to come on. We get her silent alarm so that if she's being taken the alarm it's an alarm. It's like almost like your ambulance alarm. It's loud, so that everyone will know they're in trouble. We give them pepper spray, and we have given out over 300 pepper sprays because the girls are constantly attacked and brutalized. So we give them pepper spray, we give them window breakers because they're getting kidnapped all the time. And they know that they're being kidnapped because they might put their seatbelt on and they can't take it off. It's locked them in. So the window breakers have seatbelt cutters also. So they can get out of the seatbelt, and then if there's no door handle, then we have window breakers, and you just push the window breaker against the corner, and it shatters the window, and then they jump out. So I have had young ladies tell me, you have no idea how many times I've jumped out of a moving vehicle. And I've had young ladies come into the drop-in center just covered with blood because they jumped out, and the glass cut them up. And we try to talk them into going to the hospital, but they won't go. But we bandage them as much as possible. We keep peroxide bandages. But these two young ladies, and I'm going to get to this story right now because I can keep going on. And Kathleen's supposed to tell me when to stop because I can talk. I can keep you here all day. So I'm not going to do that. So anyway, the two young ladies came in, and she started crying. So as we took her to the shower where she could take a shower, and she started crying. And so Keela was like, why are you crying? No, why are you crying? And she said, I didn't think anybody cared. So when we rescue girls, most of the time we are their next of kin. When we rescue girls and we send them and put them in a shelter, we are their emergency contact. They have nobody else. And they have no way out. They have no way out of this life that they were dragged into at 14, 15. They don't know of a way out. So when she came in, she just started crying. She said, I didn't know anyone cared. And so because we greet them with love, they know we really care. And so she kept crying. And so we have a closet because the girls don't have regular clothes. They call them respectable clothes because they're only given their work clothes so that they won't run away. You're not gonna run away if you have a fishnet bikini on. You're not gonna get on a bus. So that's a way of controlling them. So we give them clothing. So we have a beautiful closet thanks to Kathleen and the Manhattan Beach Rotary. We have so many other things that we have because of the Manhattan Beach Rotary. But anyway, so Keela saw that something was wrong and wanted to separate her from her wife. And so her wifey, the other girl. And so she took her outside. And when she went outside, Keela came back in a few minutes later and she said, Ms. D, I need you to come out here. So when we came out here, when I came outside, she said, I didn't know it was a way out. She said, can you help me out, get out? We were like, that's what we're here for. We don't tell girls that we're here for that because we would be shut down in a minute, because you're talking about too much money that we're going to interrupt. So we just tell them that we're here to care for you, to support you, and when they come in and they have had enough and they ask, can you help me? We jump into action, like Kathleen said. So she tells us that she wants to get out. So we were like, yeah, you're going to get out right now? What? She said, no, because she was so attached to the other girl, who is very kind. She said, no, I want to take her with me. It's like, you can't do that because she's loyal. So you have to go by yourself, and you're not. And so she wanted to take all her things. You're not going to be able to take your things. This is a new life. You're going to have to leave your old life and go to this new life that we have for you. So she wasn't ready. She called back the next day, still contemplating. The next day she called, she said, I'm on my way. And we had about 10 minutes to figure out how to get her out, away from her pimp, away from the girl, and she starts walking. So we have relationships with the law enforcement. They sent a plainclothesman out. He followed her. She didn't know she was being followed to make sure that she made it to us. We told her, you cannot stop where we are because you're being tracked. So you can't stop. So she went past, we told her, go past us, go to the McDonald's, to the main part of the red light district. I'll pick you up. I jump in my car, I have a red car. Jump in my car and meet her at McDonald's. She turns her phone off, and this is what she said to me. So the police officer called, and he was like, are you guys okay? We're great. We're on our way to buy her some clothes. We didn't have time to go in the closet and get clothes and hygiene. We had to move right then. So he said, are you okay? He's asking the young lady. He's on speaker. And she said, I'm great. And she said, I saw Miss D as I walked up. I saw that red car. She said, and I realized I was 5 feet from freedom. And that's what we represent, freedom, because they have no idea how to get out of the life. And so took her, bought her clothing, connected her with the person that was going to help her, and I've been keeping in contact with her. She's happy, she's free, and that's just one of the 20 girls that we've rescued now. But I think that what keeps us going and keeps us able to do this, because those are just the girls that we rescue. Those are not the girls that are still coming in, and they're our regulars, and they come in just for a hug, and they come in. Most of them now, they have pepper spray. They have everything that they need. They just come in because somebody cares, and that's what we represent. We represent the support, we represent, and we connect them with their families. So when we do rescue young women, we either put them in a shelter, or if they want to go home, we'll like, do you have anyone? And they'll call family, and family is so excited to get them back because they didn't know how to deal with the life that they've been inducted into, not chose. Because at 13 or 14, you don't make choices. You just are supposed to obey your parents. But these girls are pulled out of their home, and the parents are so happy that they want to come back. So we do lots of family unification, but when we reunify them, we've sent a girl to Baltimore, we sent a girl to Texas, we sent a girl to Arizona. These girls are being taken from different states, as I said, and we're able to, and we reunify them with family who are so happy to get them back. The ones that are not reunified with families are put in shelters, and we have partnerships with different shelters, and we get them in school. We have a relationship with the local junior college. We get them jobs. We're able to get them victims' compensation money. We get them in apartments, and we don't let them go. They are our girls forever, and they call all the time. I can show you my phone, and it's just full of text messages. Miss D, Miss D, Miss D, Keela too. So one of the things that we do, and I'll finish with this. We also, when the girls come in, we created a sisterhood so that they're not alone. So they have girls that are called renegades, and they don't have a pimp. They don't have anyone. And they're out there by themselves. They're like, I am not going to give my money to somebody that beats me, and they'd rather get beat by the gangs and the other girls or whoever's out there that are preying on the renegades. And so when they come in, we make sure that everybody gets to know each other. And they're like kids. They come in to color. They come in to play Monopoly, Connect Four, because they were taken as children. And so when they come in, do you guys know each other? No. Speak. What's your name? What's your name? And we connect them. And then we give these bracelets to them. These bracelets represent sisterhood. So that when they're out there, there's 147 girls out there now that wear these bracelets, and they know that's your sister. You can connect. We walking by each other, but now you're not alone because that's your sister. And every time they come in, they get a new bracelet. We've got girls that got bracelets all the way up her arm. It's like, really? There's nowhere other place to put the bracelets. And they still keep getting the bracelets because they love the bracelets. And so we promote sisterhood, and we represent love, we represent acceptance, we represent no judgment, and we represent hope. And that's Restoration Diversion Services. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No, go.
Thank you so much, both of you, for that moving and important message. And yes, so Deidre and Kathleen are going to be, along with some other of their cohorts, at the table out there for on the patio. So feel free to ask questions or whatever. Okay, time for the offertory, and today we have a split plate. You all know what the split plate is. So we're splitting our plate with Restoration Diversion Services. And RDS, have you already heard, but I want to just repeat it, is an award-winning human trafficking nonprofit organization in Compton. They're focused on uplifting victims and survivors of human trafficking, particularly sex trafficking, as they rebuild their lives with safety and dignity and resilience. Before we read the affirmation of gratitude, I want to mention there's a wonderful little paper all about RDS, and Barbara Paulson was good enough to go and put one of those on all the tables outside, so you can pick one up. So please join me in the affirmation of gratitude. Is that going up? There we go. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for all those who share their gifts, for we are enriched by their giving. Let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may experience the generosity of others. And so, if you would all rise and join hands. Would you like to come up and read? Yes, yes. You want to start?
In closing, let us remember that this beloved community is dedicated to the proposition that within all of our differences and in all of our diversity, there is a unity that binds us forever together, in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We rise in silent witness to that unity.
Thank you, Leanne. May the blessing of love be upon you. May love's peace abide within you. May love's presence illuminate your hearts, now and forevermore. So be it. Amen, Ashe, Shalom, Salam, Namaste, and blessed be. And now our service truly begins.
All right.
Please stay for our postlude.
We're going to do a bit of audience participation here. So when I get to the end of the verse, first verse ends with, "Suddenly to my surprise," you're going to sing, "He did the mash." And then I'll do another verse and then the monster mash. So just sing along, sing the background vocals. I think you all know the song, so hopefully you can do this. All right. I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For a monster from its slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. He did the monster mash. From my laboratory in the castle east to the master bedroom where the vampires feast, the ghouls all came from their humble abode to get a jolt from my electrode. They did the mash. They did the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They did the monster mash. The zombies were having fun. The party had just begun. The guests included Wolfman, Dracula, and his son. The scene was rockin', all digging the sounds. Igor on chains, backed by his baying hounds. The coffin bangers were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker 5. They played the monster mash. It was a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. They played the monster mash. Out from his coffin, Drac's voice did ring. Seems he was troubled by just one thing. He opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?" It's now the mash. It's now the monster mash. And it's a graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. It's now the Monster Mash. Now everything's cool. Drax a part of the band. And my Monster Mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, say Guido sent you. Then you can Earth Mash. Then you can Monster Mash. And you can Graveyard Smash. You'll catch on in a flash. Then you can Monster Mash. Mash good. Easy go, you mischievous young boy. Mash good. Yeah.